What's up, everybody? This is your boy Uber Hikari, aka the Nerd Nigga, here to bring you another video with no frills, just the analysis. And it's time for that Q&A, baby. It's time for that Q&A. And I must say, man, I gave you guys a month to come up with, any kind of question you could possibly think of to ask me. No restrictions. And I must say, I got some, really great questions, some good questions, and then some just fucking weird questions, but I will be answering all of them. And as you can see, I am very prepared for this to be probably the longest video I've ever uploaded. That's why it's in 360p. Because if I try to do this thing in 720p, it would probably take forever for me to upload the damn thing. So yeah. So this video is going to be broken into parts. Obviously, I'm going to have to do that. I just wouldn't randomly start answering questions. The first part is probably going to be, well, it won't probably be, it will be, a question that I received from Yugo Strange about, his question of the ages, which was basically, well, I'll get into that when I answer the question. But the other three categories will be broken down into anime, all anime related questions, personal questions, and then a category labeled other, which is not just a hodgepodge of all different types of things about, music or philosophy or whatever. So, yeah, let's get into this. So first, let me start off with this question of ages that I received from Yugo Strange. And basically, he asked me if I could bring back five people from the dead, not all at the same time, but, um, on different days. If I could bring back five people from the dead and spend 24 hours with them, who would it be? So this is a very interesting question, and Ubi Hikari. I always want to make things a little complex. Um, my question would be, what if they don't want to be brought back? I mean, that would be kind of somewhat of an imposition to bring someone back from the dead, and then after 24 hours tell them, well, sorry, but you got to go back to being dead. So that's a little off-putting. But besides that point, to answer the question, I'm not, trying to dodge the question, but to answer the question, I think the first person I would bring back would have to be my father, who sadly passed away when I was 3 years old. And so I never really got a chance to, talk to him or know him or figure out, what kind of person he was, or, just to have the chance for him to impart any wisdom on me that he would have, liked to give me before he passed away. So, and I'd, bring back my father for obvious reasons. I just, would like everybody, wants to know who their parents were, their mother or their father, where they come from, or, what their, familial lineage is. And so, that's the, biggest reason about, why I would bring my father back. The number 2 and 3 spots can kind of be grouped together a little bit. I'd bring back Zora Neale Hurston and Audre Lorde, who are my two favorite authors. Both of them, African American women writers, and Zora Neale Hurston. I'd bring her back because she just had a very, very deep. Well, first of all, she lived between she kind of lied about her age. She kind of took 10 years off of her age. So we don't really know how old she was, but we suspect that she was born in 1891 rather than 1901. And I believe she passed away in the 1960s. So that's sort of the time period in which she lived. But Zora Neale Hurston was, an African American female author who had a very, very deep understanding of sort of, the anthropology of African Americans, and also had a very, very deep understanding of the sort of, sort of folklore of the African American community, especially as it relates to the Deep South and sort of, the rural areas, and also to some extent, well, they weren't African Americans, but to a certain extent, also a little bit of the Caribbean, because she spent some time doing a little bit of anthropological work in Haiti as well. So I just bring her back, because she had an immense by all accounts, an immense knowledge of, African American folklore and the sort of, practices of Africans throughout not only America, but sort of in the Caribbean. So a little bit of the African diaspora. And so, and she was, very well known for, sort of infusing all of her literature with that, immense knowledge of folklore that she had. And also because of her writing style. She has a very, very characteristic, very, very unique writing style, that's sort of like, if I had to describe it, it would almost be like a sort of prose poetry feel to it. And she's, very well known for her use of extended metaphors. That's probably what she's most famous for. I would say her use of extended metaphors. And no one writes an extended metaphor like Zora Neale Hurston. Toni Morrison tries, but she just doesn't compare to Zora Neale Hurston. So that's why I would bring her back. And then Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde had, I don't remember when she was born. I believe she was born in the 1950s, I want to say. 1940s, 1950s. And she passed away in the early 1990s, late 1980s, I believe. So Audre Lorde, who was also a poet as well as an author, um, she had an immense, immense sense of just what it meant to be free. I mean, she was, first of all, she was, African American, but then she was an African American woman, and then she was an African American female lesbian who referred to herself as a sort of warrior poet. And so she's very instrumental within the African American literary tradition, but also within, I would even suggest perhaps, maybe the American philosophical tradition, for all of her the work that she did about, what it means to be free, and what it means to be free as a person who is discriminated against not only because of their race and their sex, but also race and their gender, but also because of, their sexual orientation. So she's just someone who I would really love to speak about in terms of, what it means to be, a free individual or a free person, and what liberation means, and what liberation meant for her specifically. So I would bring her back. The next person, the fourth person I would bring back, is a very interesting choice. Buddy Bolden, who was a jazz musician, and he was a jazz musician at a very, very sort of interesting point where there wasn't yet a difference between jazz and the blues. So around the turn of the 19th, around, no, around the turn of the 20th century, so around 1910, 1920, somewhere around there, there wasn't yet a clear-cut distinction between blues and jazz. And that's where, Buddy Bolden sort of, hails from, that sort of lineage of jazz musicians. But the very, very interesting thing about Buddy Bolden is that whenever you talk about, whenever, jazz musicians of the 1940s, 1930s, 1950s talk about who was very influential for their music, they always bring up Buddy Bolden. But what's very, very ironic about this sort of historical situation is that there is no surviving record of his music. In other words, we don't know what he sounded like because he has no recordings of Buddy Bolden survive, and we don't know, what happened to his music, or, we basically don't know what happened to his music, and we don't know actually what he sounded like. But by all accounts, he was a very, very good musician. And one of the distinctive elements of his sound was that it was very, very loud. Whenever you hear a person talk about Buddy Bolden, one of the first things that they mention is that he played the trumpet, and his sound was just incredibly, incredibly loud. So he had this sort of blaring sound to his music. And so I would definitely want to speak to Buddy Bolden and sort of, get his ideas on the philosophy of, jazz, and the philosophy of music, and the relationship between jazz and, blackness, or the black aesthetic. And so I would also just love to hear what his music sounded like. The fifth person I would bring back, and this was a very, very difficult decision. I didn't know who I wanted to sort of put in this place, but I would have to say that a person who I admire a lot, and a person who I know Zip admires a lot, Zip Lagori admires a lot, is Bruce Lee. And I just, as a kid growing up, I loved karate movies. And if you love karate movies, then you have to know about Bruce Lee. But what's so interesting to me about Bruce Lee is that he was not just a sort of, fighter, but he was also a philosopher. And growing up, one of the things that I always wanted to be, and sort of, one of my great loves even to this day, is philosophy, although I've, sort of branched out of philosophy. But Bruce Lee had very, very interesting ideas about, the philosophy of consciousness. And I would just want to have a very, very deep philosophical conversation with him about the nature of consciousness and about the philosophy of consciousness, and also the relationship between the body and consciousness, because he was very, very, he had very, very, interesting ideas about, consciousness and the relationship between the body and consciousness and the sort of fluidity of consciousness. And, one of his famous quotes was, be like water. So I just want to have I think that would be a very, very interesting discussion that we would have about the philosophy of consciousness. So now let me move on to the category anime and manga. And before I get into any specific questions, let me just take care of these three questions right off the bat, because a lot of people ask me these questions. They were, my top ongoing series, my top anime and manga series, and my my favorite anime and manga series. So for ongoing series, I probably can't think of anything beyond three. That would be Hunter x Hunter, which I think is the best ongoing shonen series, Berserk, and Gantz. So those are my top three ongoing series. And they sort of like a mix between shonen and seinen. So take that for what you will. My top 10 anime and manga, and this list might, upset some people. And this list is in no particular order. So this is my top 10 anime and manga, both in terms of shonen and seinen. And this is in no particular order. So Zeta Gundam, Berserk, Shaman King, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking Neon Genesis Evangelion. And when I looked at least all the anime and manga that I've watched or read, which was about 70 series so far, I just cannot justify leaving Neon Genesis Evangelion off this list. There's just no way I could do it. The sort of, even though a lot of people don't understand Neon Genesis Evangelion, and rightly so, because it's pretty much a mind fuck. But if you know anything about psychoanalysis or psychoanalytic theory, you would understand that Neon Genesis Evangelion is probably one of the few shonen series that has a sort of philosophical argument built into the structure of the narrative. And for that alone, it's just absolutely revolutionary in the way it deals with with certain philosophical concepts. And for that reason alone, it just cannot be left off of this list. Then I would say Planet Test, which was, what was that, like 6 or 7? Planet Test, which is an awesome anime series. Monster by Naoki Urasawa, and Space Runaway Idion. So those are probably my top 10. And you'll probably notice that I had 2 series from Yoshiyuki Tomino, and they're kind of similar a little bit. So maybe I could knock one of those off, but they're both very, very good in their own right. You might be noticing that I left off series like Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, but a lot of you will probably realize that I left off DBZ. And yes, I mean, I like DBZ. I like Dragon Ball Z a lot, but when I think about its greatness relative to the greatness of all those other series, I think that DBZ, although it was vastly influential, and even though it absolutely paved the way for the modern shonen genre, like I've said in a lot of other videos, when I think about the quality of the material, just from the standpoint of quality, just from that, only that standpoint, not in terms of influence, not in terms of popularity, but just in terms of strictly the quality of the narrative, I think DBZ is just a little bit of a step below these other series. As for my top 12 favorite anime and manga series, obviously DBZ, Code Geass, Outlaw Star, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, Moribito, Victory Gundam, Cyber City Oedo, 666 Satan, which is my favorite manga, Zeta Gundam, which is my favorite anime. Well, no, actually, Zeta Gundam is not my favorite anime. Space Runaway Idion is my favorite anime, although I do like Zeta Gundam a lot. I also like Victory Gundam a lot. Fist of the North Star, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and Haibane Renmei. So I don't know how many that was, maybe like 15. I couldn't keep that list of 10. I just liked them too much. All right, so now into specific questions, and now we jumping right into the heart of this video, and I see I'm already at 16 and a half minutes. Goodness, goodness, goodness. All right, so these series pertaining to anime and manga, these questions pertaining to anime and manga. All right, so from Hodge Linder 12 asked me, after Mega Upload was shut down, where do you watch anime? I don't watch anime anywhere. I download all of my anime and manga, and my preferred sites before they got shut down. First it was ISO Hunt, that got shut down. Then it was BT Junkie, that got shut down. Now it's Kick Ass, Torrents, and the Pirate Bay. So those are the places where I download most of my anime and manga now. 10 years from now, do you see yourself, these questions are all from Hodge Linder. 10 years from now, do you see yourself reading / watching manga / anime? And if yes, which manga and anime would you watch? 10 years from now, of course, I probably will be watching the anime and reading manga for the rest of my life until I die. I mean, I love anime and manga. What would I be reading or watching? Probably One Piece if that's still around. I doubt Naruto would still be around. And I don't know of any other ongoing series that would be around for 10 more years, but I suppose whatever, new is coming out in the shonen or the seinen genre, I'd probably still be, watching or reading that. Also, have you read Vinland Saga and what do you think about it? No, haven't read Vinland Saga yet. I've got 3 more volumes of Berserk left, and then I'll probably read Vinland Saga after I'm finished with Berserk. Shaman King manga version versus One Piece manga version. Shaman King, obviously. Shaman King manga version versus Naruto manga version. Shaman King, obviously. Shaman King manga version versus Bleach manga version. I won't even answer that question. Of course, Shaman. Well, I just did answer that question, so yes, Shaman King. Which do you think is a better manga and which character should win in a fight? I've already answered which manga I think is better. Shaman King beats all of the big 3. In terms of what characters would win in a fight, I'd probably say either the One Piece characters or the Naruto characters. If I was pressed, I would probably say the One Piece characters. I'd probably say the One Piece characters. These questions are from Kuroi Raiden, or Kuroi Raiden, if you don't want to pronounce it the Japanese way. What are your thoughts on Bleach's Lost Shinigami Agent arc? I've only read like 1 or 2 chapters from that arc. If you're talking about the Ginjo arc, yeah, I've only read like 1 or 2 chapters, so I don't really have that many thoughts. From what I understand, it wasn't that good. Do you think it was the worst arc of Bleach, or okay overall, or was it just plain bad? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I haven't read it, so I wouldn't know. Do you think Genjo had more potential to be a legit villain, or is it good that Kubo just threw him away? From what I understand and from what I've read, Genjo was just a cannon fodder character who served as a plot device for Ichigo to regain his powers. That's pretty much it. I don't really think that he was a good character. I mean, if that's basically what his role was, then Genjo was probably a shitty character. What are your thoughts on the anime Blast Rider? I plan on watching Blast Rider, although I'm pretty backlogged in terms of anime, so I haven't really gotten to Blast Rider, but I plan on watching it. This question is from King Slate. If you could make your own manga, what would it be like? I actually have a lot of ideas for a manga that I would create, but obviously I don't want to reveal those ideas because people might steal them from me. So I think I'm gonna have to pass on this question. Sorry about that, but I think I'm gonna have to pass. This question comes from Esper Review. Who's your favorite anime character besides Kenshin? Besides Kenshin, I'd probably say my favorite anime character is Geofreed from 666 Satan. Although I have a lot of characters that I like. I like Yo Asakura from Shaman King. I like Geofreed, like I said. I like Yusuke Urameshi. I like Hajime Saito. Just a lot of different characters. Hiko Seijiro. One character that I really, really like from Kenshin, besides Kenshin, a character who I probably like more than Kenshin now that I think about it, Seta Sojiro. I really, really liked Seta Sojiro. So those are just some of the characters I like besides Kenshin. This is from, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Slicks. Sorry if I fucked your name up really bad. Do you think Naruto is better than DBZ? DBZ practically has no story. Why or whatnot? Um, is Naruto better than DBZ? I'd probably say no. Um, actually, I don't. I don't. I'd probably say yeah, DBZ is better than Naruto. Naruto Part One was I think better than DBZ, but Shippuden, two thumbs down. Kishimoto, two thumbs down, two thumbs down. The plot has just become ridiculously unwieldy. Just not good at all. Do you read Bakuman? What do you think of it? Nope, definitely don't. Not even sure I know what Bakuman is, so no, don't read Bakuman. Are you planning on reviewing Monster or anything from Naoki Urasawa? Yes, I am. What's your, do you think DBZ is overrated? Why? No, I don't think DBZ is overrated. Do I think I've never heard any arguments about the just specifically pertaining to the quality of DBZ, just the quality of DBZ. I've already, addressed the quality of DBZ, but do I think it's overrated? No. It's impossible to overestimate the sort of influence that DBZ had on the modern shonen genre. And I've said this in other videos, and I'll say it again here. Without Dragon Ball Z, there is no modern shonen genre. It does not exist. If there's no DBZ, there's no modern shonen genre. It it doesn't exist. So no, I don't think it's overrated. What do you think is the best thing in Naruto, the manga, and what is the worst? The worst thing is easy. The sort that that Naruto chasing Sasuke is obviously the worst thing in the fucking manga. It's just bad. Should have given up on that nigga a long time ago. Actually, should have killed him if he had the chance. What is the best thing in Naruto? The best thing in Naruto, uh, I don't know what the best thing in Naruto. I think the best thing in Naruto is probably the world building. And I know I've said this, just to go off a little bit of a tangent, that when it comes to world building, Oda is God status. I think Kishimoto rivals Oda when it comes to world building. Not just in terms of the mythology or even just the setting of the world itself, but in terms of the lore and the mythology and the history of the world. I don't think there's anything that comes close to the history of the world, not the fictional setting and place of the world, but the history of the world. The history of the world is just top notch. I'd say that's probably the best thing in Naruto. Did you watch Death Note? What did you think about it? Nope, haven't watched Death Note yet. Did you read anything from Junji Ito? He's a horror manga artist. Don't read horror manga, so no. Did you read Slam Dunk? No. Although I'm thinking about reading it, even though I'm kind of a little bit meh on sports, anime, and manga. I don't really like them, but I've heard good things about Slam Dunk, so I'll probably watch that. Or at least read it. This question comes from X10DM88. Do you read Claymore, and if so, what do you think about it? Yes, I read Claymore. Part one, I thought was good. I thought part good was good, maybe a little bit above good. I would say for part one. Part two, too many contrived plot devices, too many different subplots at once. I don't want to give you, obviously I don't want to give any spoilers, but the plot got way too messy, way too fast. That's all I'll say about that. This next set of questions comes from Nimesh021. In future, are you going to review any weekly manga? I'm thinking about it, and if I ever review a weekly manga, it will be HunterxHunter. Um, these questions come from Yoko Elijah. Have you seen the Elfen Lead? If you did you like it? Yes, I've seen the Elfen Lead, and yes, I liked it. What is the most traumatizing anime and anime moment you've ever seen? The most traumatizing anime moment probably comes from Space Runaway Idion. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but the most traumatizing moment I've seen was when a pregnant chick gets shot in the face, point blank range, gets shot right in the face. Uh, I'll tell you this. Proceed at your own caution if you want to watch Space Runaway Idion. What is your favorite moment in Rurouni Kenshin? My favorite moment in Rurouni Kenshin is probably uh favorite moment. Probably the fight between Hajime Saito and Kenshin. When Kenshin makes his transition into Himura the Batosai. I mean, wow. Probably one of the most underrated fights of all times. The first that first fight between Kenshin and Hajime Saito. Whew. Ooh boy, man. I absolutely love that fight. What are your top 5 anime moments? My top 5 anime moments? Uh I really don't know what my top 5 anime moments. Off the top of my head, damn it, man. I've seen like 70 different animes, 70 different mangas. I just don't know what my top 5 anime moments are. Some moments I like was when Kenshin learned the succession technique from Hiko Seijiro. Um Another moment I like was when Amuro Ray in the original Mobile Suit Gundam destroyed, I think, 9 Rick Doms in under 2 minutes. Epic fucking moment. Another moment I like is when, oh man, I just forgot what I was gonna say. From Yu Hakusho when Yusuke Urameshi removes his spirit cuffs. Epic beast ass moment. That was just fucking sick. Um, some other moments. Let's see. Oh, one of my favorite moments, not an anime moment, more of a manga moment, was when the Straw Hat Pirates go to save Nico Robin. I love that when Nico's telling them, don't worry about me. It's okay if I die. And this. I think it was a double page where you see Chopper and Usopp, and they're just all standing up tall and strong, and they're just ready to get Nico Robin back. So those are just some of my favorite moments. This from, oh God, and this name, come on, man, Pu- Pubix Cube 27. What are your top 5 series? Oh, I've already answered that. These questions come from Mr. Deadly Dude 666. Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Yes, I've seen Full Metal Alchemist. Probably go down as a classic series. Not probably. I think it definitely will go down as a classic series. Awesome series in terms of both, characterization and in terms of story. And ironically, I think the best characters in that series is probably not Al or even Ed. I really like Father, and I really like Hohenheim. Those characters are fucking beasts. Also Scar and Mustang as well. Those characters are what make the story, not Ed and Al. I think they're probably mediocre characters. All the other characters, absolutely great. What are your favorite shonen and what are your favorite seinen? Already addressed that. Have you seen Baccano and what are your thoughts on it? I plan on watching Baccano, but like I said before, backlog and a whole bunch of anime and manga I gotta read and watch, so haven't gotten to it yet. What do you think is the most underrated manga out there? Easy. Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Nobody talks about Monster. Nobody talks about Monster, and it's got to be one of the top five mangas I've ever read. This question comes from Rap Junkie 369. Have you ever read the manga Battle Royale? If so, then what did you think of it, and who was your favorite character? Haven't read it yet. Plan on reading it. This question comes from Hisoka. Oh wait, no, I've already answered that question. Top five favorite ongoing manga. These questions come from the Beast Mode 1994. Do you ever plan on not watching anime and reading manga in the future? Nope, I'll always be reading anime and manga. Do you get teased for reading besides watching it? Nope, never got teased for reading and watching anime and manga. Top three worst anime and manga. The only anime series I've ever watched, and this goes for both anime and manga, actually. The only series I was unable to complete was Eureka 7. Ugh. It just takes so long to get to the fucking heart of the story. Fuck. I mean, for like the first 20 or 30 episodes, you don't know what the fuck the Gecko state is. You don't know why they left the government. You don't know what the backstory. I mean, there's just no fucking context for any of the shit that happens. And Written Thurston is a bitch. Um, So, oh, if you've got an anime and manga collection, will you do a vid about it? I don't have any anime or manga collection. Every anime and manga that I own is in a digital format, and I collect books, not novels. Well, actually, fantasy and science fiction novels. So I don't have any anime or manga. This question comes from J. Dufil. What is the anime and manga with the most psychological and ethical complexity and or with the most plot twist and mystery you have ever read slash watched? Monster by Naoki Urasawa. These next questions come from Batrock51. What is your favorite DBZ saga? Frieza, the Namek saga, the Namek arc. Who do you like the most between Fat Boo, Super Boo, and Kid Boo? I don't really like either of them, but I suppose Fat Boo, because he is kind of funny, I guess. Did you like the Rurouni Kenshin filler episodes? It's been a long time, probably about almost 5 years since I've seen the Rurouni Kenshin filler episodes. But from what I remember, they were okay. They weren't, they were alright. Do you download anime? If so, where do you download it from? Yes, I download all of my anime and manga, and oh, actually, although I actually don't. Now that I think about it, I actually don't download anime and manga from. I've never downloaded. I used to download anime and manga from ISO Hunt. I used to download it from Baka BT, but that was only a small minority of the anime and manga that I've actually downloaded. Most of the anime and manga that I download comes from a website called Baka BT. That's where I get almost all of my anime and manga. Baka BT, that's where I get it from. Do you ever plan to catch up on One Piece? Yes. Do you think the Media Blasters dub of Rurouni Kenshin is good? If Media Blasters is the only Kenshin dub, then I like either the dub or the sub. It doesn't matter to me. I like both the dub and the sub of Kenshin. These next questions come from Dat Boy, a legend. If you were in the fairy tale world, which girl in the fairy tale guild, which one is your girlfriend? I've only read like the first 20 something chapters of Fairy Tail, so I don't know all the chicks in the guild, but I really like Urza. Although a lot of people think she's, bitchy and whatever, I really, really like Urza. Not Lucy, Urza. I really, really like Urza. And from what I can tell, from what I've read anyway, she's the best character. Natsu is fucking, ugh. Whatever. Who would you have sex with if you could pick only pick one? Sakura, Hinata, Tsunade, Shizune, Mei, the current Mizukagi, or Ino? Um, uh, probably it's kind of difficult. It'd probably be between Sakura and probably Shizune. I'm not a titty man, so definitely not Tsunade because the titties are way too big for me. Not Hinata because, she just seems so inexperienced and she's just so fucking annoying. Ugh, can't stand Hinata. I don't really know the current Mizukage that well. I've seen the pictures of her and from what I look like, she looks pretty. It probably, actually, now that I think about it, it'd probably be the Mizukage. Yeah, the Mizukage. Rukia, Orihime, or Momo. I don't remember who the fuck Momo is. I don't know who Momo is. So probably shit. I mean, Orihime, not really. Rukia, definitely not. I don't even know who Momo is, so I guess it since Orihime and Rukia are so bad, probably Momo. I don't know who the fuck Momo is though, so don't blame me if she's some dog shit ugly chick. I just don't know. Robin or Nami? Robin, definitely Robin, not Nami. Robin's the type. No, Nami's the type of bitch. You wake up in the morning, your wallet's gone, your house is empty, the furniture's gone. So no, definitely, definitely not Nami. Are you an ass man or a titty man? Definitely. Anybody who knows me knows straight up I'm an ass man. I'm definitely an ass man. Who do you think is the oldest virgin in fairy tale? Probably Urza, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read that much of fairy tale, so probably Urza. Who do you think is the oldest virgin in Naruto? The oldest virgin in Naruto? I have no fucking idea. I don't know what kind of questions are these. I have no idea. I don't fucking know who the oldest virgin in Naruto is. I don't know. I guess if I had to guess, I don't know. I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Who do you think is the oldest virgin in Bleach? Oldest virgin in Bleach. I don't know, man. Unohana Retsu doesn't look like she's ever gotten it in with anybody, so I guess Unohana. Which series do you think has the biggest power levels between Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail? I don't know what the power levels in Fairy Tail are, but between Bleach and Naruto, I would probably say Naruto. Definitely Naruto. Do you think that Hiro overdoes it with the fan service, and do you think it takes away from the story? Yeah. Probably all that tits and ass bullshit. I mean, plus the over sexualization of women in shonen manga is problematic anyway. So, yeah, I think he probably overdoes it. What do you What do you think the first Naruto had that Shippuden does not have? A good story. Basically, as simple as that, a good story. If Naruto or Bleach ended today, would you do a full series review of them? Nope. These questions come from Uwana Sasuke 100. Am I wrong to say that each arc of your story needs to have a detailed explanation of what you're trying to represent in your story and plot overall, and not random things that has nothing to do with the overall story? I would say, yeah, you probably need a detailed explanation of what's going on in your story, but you could probably have some random things in there too, as long as it doesn't take away from the integrity of the story. If you watch Read Fairy Tale, what do you think that Natsu Dragon Neil being a cliche main character? I think it sucks that he's a fucking main character. Totally uninteresting, just boring, bland, just fucking not a good character at all. What was your favorite moments in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Favorite moments. Probably one of my favorite moments was when King Bradley comes back. Also, one of the funniest moments. First of all, they off screen that fight between, I forgot who they off screened, but it was between Al and was it Pride? One of them, but the little dude who could control shadows. And they off screen that fight, and then it cuts to a scene where Al and the two Chimera are there's like a comedic scene where they're like arguing over a car or something, and all of a sudden you just see King Bradley in the background walking behind them, and you're like, what the fuck? Wasn't he dead? That was one of my favorite moments because that's when I knew, like, oh, King Bradley's about to fuck some shit up. So yeah, that and the ensuing fight between King Bradley and Greed, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorite moments in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. What was your favorite fight in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden? Favorite fights in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I don't know. I haven't seen all the fights. I haven't even seen all of Shippuden. Uh, I don't know. I like the Pain fight. I thought that fight was pretty good. I like the Jiraiya Pain fight. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, that's about it. Kenshin or Yusuke? I think Kenshin's a better character, but I think I like Yusuke more. What are the complex things you notice about One Piece? I think I talked about this a little bit in my video on One Piece and characterization. The best thing that One Piece has going forward is the different variations on the theme of justice. So the dark justice of Rob Lucci, the absolute justice of Aka Inu, the excessive justice of Rob Lucci, I believe it is. So that's probably the most complex things in One Piece, and also the way the sort of the way that Oda handles um, the relationship between political power and political authority within the between the governing factions that make up the sort of political structure of the world of One Piece. What was your favorite Kenshin Himura quote? Off the top of my head, I don't know. But there is a quote that he talks about where the path to atonement is to fulfill my struggling life or something along those lines. I don't have the exact quote, but it's something like that. I believe it's in chapter 227 if I'm not mistaken. What did you prefer, Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, and why? Obviously Naruto. The part 1 was the best. I think the story was just fucking awesome. And it really gets off track with Naruto Shippuden. And the story now is just a fucking mess. Too many subplots happening at once. Just a fucking mess. Do you think Tite Kubo will be a good writer again, or will he continue to suck? I don't think, in terms of Bleach, I don't think Tite Kubo will ever be a good writer again. I think his best series will come after Bleach. I think his best series will come after Bleach. I think he'll probably be a good writer after Bleach. Because as much as he's fucked up, I can't imagine that he hasn't learned to be a better writer. Have you watched Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and what did you love about it? No, I haven't seen Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. What was your favorite fight in DBZ? Obviously, uh, Frieza versus Goku. Obviously, Frieza versus Goku. Um, Do you think Ichigo versus Aizen was anticlimactic at best? Yes. It was. I mean, the way Aizen got defeated was a completely fucking contrived plot device with Urahara and the Keto and sealing his Ryatsu and all that other bullshit. Do you think the Chapter Black saga was rushed? The Chapter Black saga, no. I've heard a lot of people say that the saga of the Three Kings was rushed, but never Chapter Black. How old were you when you got into animes? Uh, I was I was like 6 or 7 when I first started watching, like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon, but I didn't know they were animes and mangas. I didn't know what that was at the time. I didn't really get into anime and manga until I was like 18. So yeah, that's probably the age when I really got into anime and manga. Uh, what do you think about the complexity of Guts in Berserk? One of the most complex characters I've ever seen, especially psychological complexity. Ethical complexity, yeah, but definitely psychological complexity. I mean, his whole backstory was just 13 volumes long. That's one of the most complex backstories I've ever seen. Actually, it's probably the most complex backstory I've ever seen, besides maybe Johann Liebert and Monster. What is your opinions and thoughts on the awful Fourth Ninja War of Naruto? Um, I haven't really gotten to this arc yet, so I really don't know. But from I've read maybe 10 chapters from this arc, and from what I've seen, there's too many. Like I said before, too many fucking subplots, too many unresolved mysteries. I mean, At some point he's going to have to start answering some questions. Have you watched Last Red Fairy Tale? What do you think about it at best? I've only watched the first 20, only read the first 22 chapters, and from what I can see, it's just cliche. It's a cliche fest, basically, is what it is, and it's probably subpar. Did you think Lelouch and Code Geass had a good death or a bad death? I thought his fucking death was awesome. Personally, I thought it was fucking awesome. If you think Oda is a mediocre writer, even though he's not, then what do you think on Masashi Kishimoto? Kishimoto, I'd probably say, is mediocre too, but probably just a smidge below Oda. What was your favorite moment in Yu Yu Hakusho? Favorite moment in Yu Yu Hakusho? Uh, I don't know what my favorite moment was in Yu Yu Hakusho. Can't really think of a favorite moment. Like I had mentioned in a previous question, I really like when he unleashes the spirit cuffs. I thought that was awesome. Oh, I also like when he saved what was that little his spirit demon thing, Pooh? I really liked it when Genkai gives him the sort of spirit orb and he's in all of this pain and the way he overcomes that pain is when he saves Pooh. That was one of my favorite moments. I really liked that moment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. These questions are from Stings009, and these are a lot of fucking questions. Do you think that anime and manga in general will make a great and strong comeback in the near future? Uh, Manga doesn't need to come back from anything. There's no problem with manga. The problem is with anime. And uh, I see it making a comeback only under very specific conditions. One, the anime business has to move away from the physical distribution of DVDs in order to cut costs and boost their revenue. So they probably have to digitize everything. Two, they have to absolutely get rid of torrenting. And three, they have to change their business model. So, oh, and four, which is something they absolutely have no control of, people have to buy that shit. If I mean, listen, the anime industry is not going to survive if people don't buy anime. So, if you don't get people to buy anime, then the fucking anime industry is dead. I mean, that's just logical. I don't know if you can make people buy anime. I mean, you probably can't, but so unless people start buying the shit, then it's gonna die out. What would your reaction be if Princess Mononoke, along with Castle in the Sky, were to be made into a series or continuation of the original movies? I don't know. I've never seen Mononoke. The only thing by Miyazaki I've ever read, not watched, interestingly enough, read, is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. So I don't know anything else about those series. What are your favorite anime openings or endings? I like the Zeta Gundam ending. I like the first Double Zeta Gundam ending. I like the first and second Outlaw Star endings. Um, I like Freebird from Haibane Renmei, the opening. I like the Razafan ending. Um, let's see what else I got here because I know I got some other stuff. I like opening just openings and endings. Oh, I like Lullaby from well, what was Lullaby from? Shit, I can't remember. Lullaby from what was the name of that? Oh, Imasoko ni Ruboku, Now and Then, Here and There. Love that one. Oh, I love the ending from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. No Hi Mitasora, that one. I like Kino no Tabi, Beautiful World, the opening to that. I like um I like Flow from the Flow opening from Eureka 7. Eureka 7 had some of the best music in any anime I've ever seen. That's at least the one thing it had going for it. So yeah, those are just some of the endings and openings that I like. Are you a fan of Power Stone anime series? Never seen it. Are you a fan of the anime manga Mare? Never seen it. Are you a fan of the anime manga Ghost in the Shell? Yes. Are you a fan of the anime movies Appleseed? Yes. What is your favorite among the works of Miyazaki. The only one I've ever seen is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, but goddamn is it good. It's pretty good, pretty good. Uh, do you think that Full Metal Alchemist series should continue? The manga? No. The manga is complete within itself. The anime? Yes. Are you a fan of Zatch Bell? Never seen the whole series. Would you laugh if Yusuke said to Ichigo, "What? You're going to color your head white and try to pretend to be Inuyasha?" Yeah, we've gotten to the weird part of this video, ladies and gentlemen. Would I laugh? I don't know. I guess. Sure, why not? Would you laugh if Luffy said, "Now I'm Captain Rubberback Sparrow," and then Zoro said, "No, that name is too similar to a name that is already taken. It belongs to Captain Jack Sparrow," and Luffy says, "You mean the sparrow that was caught in my butt just a while ago?" I guess I would laugh. Sure, why not? Would you laugh if Luffy and Kid Buu were long lost brothers from another mother? Now that'd be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. Are you a fan of Inuyasha? Haven't seen that series. I've seen parts of it, but I haven't. And from what I've seen, I've liked. So I guess, yeah, I guess. Are you a fan of the anime manga Beat the Vandal Buster? I've been meaning to watch this anime or read that manga, but I just have not gotten around to it yet. Are you a fan of Hikaru no Go? Haven't seen it. Are you a fan of the anime manga Hellsing? I think I've seen maybe one episode of Hellsing, and it looks pretty awesome. Are you a fan of Soul Eater? Haven't read Soul Eater. Do you think that Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac is underrated? Hell yeah, nobody talks about Saint Seiya. The only person I've heard who mentioned Saint Seiya was, I think, Uber Black Man. Would you laugh if he performed a fatality on Sasuke Uchiha? That would be fucking awesome. To just If Sasuke Uchiha just got ripped by a Dragon of the Darkness Flames, he's such a bitch. Has he ever killed anybody besides those motherfucking samurai? I don't think Sasuke Uchiha has actually ever killed anybody with his bare hands. Such a bitch ass villain. What anime crossovers would you like to see and why? Um, wow, that's an interesting question. Anime crossovers? I don't know if I'd actually want to see any anime crossovers. Maybe Code Geass and Zeta Gundam. That'd be fucking awesome. I'd love to see the pilots, the mecha pilots uh, Code Geass go against Zeta Gundam. Or maybe just the Gundam series in general, because, I think fucking Camille Bidan and Amuro Ray would fucking drape, but that's just me. Uh, Do you agree that Blue Exorcist borrows themes from other shonen such as Naruto, Shiemi, and Hinata are very similar? Ren is an outcast like Naruto from the beginning of the series. Well, in every anime and manga, you have characters like Shiemi or Hinata or Ren, who's the outcast, or Naruto, who's the outcast. The style, dark themes, and complex stories are similar to that of FMA, and Ren, as well as his brother Yukio, serve as the dynamic brother duo like Edward and Al from FMA. Also, Blue Exorcist is based off of, as well as inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, every manga borrows from other manga. Shit. Can you name a manga that hasn't borrowed something from another manga? I certainly can't. So I guess, yeah. Do you think and agree that the next big three are Blue Exorcist? Blue Exorcist fucking sucks, by the way. So definitely not Blue Exorcist. Fairy Tail and Hitman Reborn. Fairy Tail is mediocre, not even mediocre. I think that's probably subpar. From what I've read of Hitman Reborn, the first like 60 chapters are like, ugh, fucking, you can just throw that shit in the trash. And the story, from what I've read, is whatever. So yeah, probably not the next big three. I don't know. In terms of popularity, they might be. In terms of quality, well, the big three aren't really that quality packed anyway. So whatever. What would Hiei say to Sasuke in the crossover story or during the fight? You're a bitch. That's probably what Hiei would say to Sasuke. You're a bitch. Do you agree that Hiei is more than capable of taking out Sasuke? In terms of power levels, the strongest attack that Hiei has is the Dragon of the Darkness Flames. And I don't know if that could take out something like a Susanoo. Probably not. But it would be interesting to see Amaterasu go up against Dragon of the Darkness Flames. That would be a cool ass fight. Overall, I probably think that I don't think Hiei would beat Sasuke. I think Sasuke's skill set, They both use fire, but I think Sasuke, now that he has EMS, probably has a more versatile skill set, and he'd probably beat Hiei. So that's just what I think. Would it be awesome if Zero, Mega Man anime, teamed up with Vegeta, Hiei, and Zoro? Uh, I don't think Vegeta, Hiei, and Zoro would team up with each other, honestly, because Vegeta and Hiei, they just don't go together at all. Their personalities are too similar. They probably kill each other. And plus, I've never watched the Mega Man anime, so I don't know who the hell Zero is. Who do you think is the best in terms of personality, backstory, characterization, and powers, as well as abilities? Rin Okumura, Yusuke Urameshi, Ichigo Kurosaki. Ichigo doesn't even come up in this conversation. And I know that Insane Game Freak was saying how he thought that he liked Rin more than he liked Yusuke, although he wasn't sure if Rin was better than Yusuke. Yusuke is obviously the best character out of this bunch. Just hands down a better character. Now, I won't say that Rin Okumura is a bad character, but he ain't got shit on Yusuke, and he's got a long way to go before he gets to that level. What separates Yusuke, Ichigo, and Ren in terms of their personality and choices? Ichigo is just a fucking wishy-washy. That nigga's just too wishy-washy for me. um, the difference between Ren and Yusuke. Yusuke is more of, I think, a badass character. And I think if Ren and Yusuke ever got into a fight, Yusuke would pound his ass. Pound his ass. It would just be really bad for Ren. But yeah, that wasn't really the question. But in terms of personality, yeah, Yusuke is a badass. Ren is not as badass of a character as Yusuke is. Do you like my crossover idea of Blue Exorcist and FMA? Basically, a new villain is connected to the artificial life methods of Blue Exorcist and wants to with the knowledge merge merge the knowledge with that of alchemy to create an army of supreme creatures as he tracks down Ren, who has the power to activate the power due to having the blood of Satan. Also, the new villain runs into Ed as he is interested in using him as an experiment. Later, Ed and Ren bump into one another and fight, but later team up. Between FMA and Blue Exorcist, would that be cool? I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a cool ass crossover. So yeah. Uh, Do you think if there were to be an order for the big three, it would be more like Fairy Tail equals Naruto, Toriko equals One Piece, and Blue Exorcist equals Bleach? Yeah, for the most part, that sounds about right. Yeah. Uh, would Roy Mustang, Full Metal Alchemist, Zero, Mega Man, Zuko, Avatar: The Last Airbender, even though he's not an anime character? Uh, yes, he is an anime character because Avatar: The Last Airbender is an anime, not a cartoon. Even though he's and Shadow the Hedgehog qualifies badass or bad attitude characters. Zuko's pretty badass. I don't know Zero from Mega Man. Roy Mustang is definitely a badass character. Oof. And Shadow the Hedgehog, I don't play video games, so I don't know. Would Mewtwo from Pokemon also qualify as a badass character? Mewtwo? I don't know. I don't even know what Mewtwo's personality is. Mewtwo never even talks, so I don't even know. Um, this question comes from Panda Bear Madness. I'm curious. In Naruto, is Guy vs Kisame a rivalry? Kisame rivalry a parody of something, or is there a hidden meaning behind their encounters? I think it's just a comic relief. If somebody else knows, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a parody of anything, but I think it's just a very comedic, rivalry. This next question comes from the Finels or the Inels. Can you make a review of the Space Runaway Idion series? I'll probably do that. Actually, I don't know when, but I will at some point in time. If from all the anime and manga genres, you would have to pick only one, what would it be? Between shonen and seinen, but I'd probably say shonen. I'm not sure about that, but probably shonen. After you analyze the ethical complexity, how can you turn your brain off so easy to watch and actually enjoy a series like Naruto and Bleach? Um, I don't know. I mean, it's a very tiring process for me to analyze a series. I mean, sometimes I do it naturally, but it totally fucks up my entertainment and enjoyment unless it's a really good series. If it's a really good series, then I find the intellectual activity very enjoyable. But overall, I just turn my brain off so I can be entertained, because that's the real reason why you watch anime and read manga. You don't watch the shit to analyze it, you watch it to have fun. This question comes from No One Alive. Hunter x Hunter overview thoughts. Um, I think Gon is like a better version of Luffy. He has sort of that idiot sort of sensibility, but he also knows when it's time to get serious. And he also has, I think he's more intelligent than Luffy, and perhaps I think he's not perhaps I think he probably is more complex than Luffy. I think Nin is the most complicated power system in any manga series I've ever seen. Awesome power system. Miriam is probably one of the best villains I've ever seen in a shonen manga series. His psychological and ethical complexity are just out of this world, and the whole plot device where he plays shogi against the blind girl is really awesome, because it's designed to show his ethical evolution. And he's the only villain I've ever seen that would engage in a genocide and then reflect on the sort of ethics of his decision making and sort of transform his thinking as he goes along. So Hunter x Hunter, and like I said before, probably the best shonen, ongoing shonen manga series right now. This question comes from Phoenix Kai. If there was one anime character you could punch, who would it be and why? Anime character I would punch. I don't know. It'd have to be, I don't know who I mean, that's like asking me which character do I dislike? Somebody who deserves to be punched. I don't know, this is kind of fucked up, but I'd probably punch maybe Hinata or She Emmy. They're just so fucking annoying to me, so I just punch him and say, shut the fuck up and stop crying. This question comes from Super DP 1992. If you could create a manga and anime, what would it be? Uh, Sorry, but I can't give my ideas away. Uh, this next question is from FML Lord 24. Do you read Gameron? If yes, what are your thoughts? I don't read Gameron, so I can't answer that question. What do you think about this whole Dragon Ball Hoshi? Do you think it's real? No, Dragon Ball Hoshi is not real. I mean, please stop living in Fantasyland, guys. It's just not real. Uh, this question comes from Kairodin. You said before that you're relatively new to anime and manga. When did you start reading and watching, and what was the title that officially sucked you in? I started really getting into anime and manga, like I said, 5 years ago, in the summer right between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. And the series that absolutely sucked me in was Naruto. Uh, for some of you who may remember, there was a Naruto marathon on Cartoon Network, which was like the first 100 episodes of Naruto, and I watched that and just got absolutely hooked. You also seem like the kind of guy that can enjoy many different kinds of shows rather than just sticking to shonen. Do you have a to-watch list, and if so, what genres are on it? Actually, I'm not that kind of guy. I mainly stick to shonen and seinen. I tried to get into shojo, but it just was not working out. So, yeah, I do like Sailor Moon. That's Magical Girl shojo. So that's pretty much the only one I like, though. These questions come from Genzine or Genzi N. Which manga do you prefer out of the big three? Probably Naruto. What all manga do you read that are ongoing? Gantz. Well, I don't really read them on a regular series. I read them sort of periodically, and that would be Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Berserk, and Gantz. That's pretty much it. Is Naruto in your top 10 manga? No. What was the first manga you read? The first manga, if I'm not mistaken, it was Ghost in the Shell. What is your favorite manga? 666 Satan. Have you read Toriko and do you enjoy it? No, haven't read Toriko. If you had to pick a manga to go on that ended, which one would it be and why? One that ended? And it says manga? I don't know. I'm not sure I want any of those mangas to continue on. But they're pretty much complete in their own right. I suppose I'd like to know a little bit about, what happened to Yahiko at the end of not Shaman King, Rurouni Kenshin. And I think that's pretty much it. Would you rather be a character in One Piece or Naruto and why? I'd probably rather be a character in Naruto just because I can't tell you why, but I think Naruto would be a better world to live in. Yeah, I think Naruto would be a better world to live in. What anime do you hate the most? I don't hate any anime. The only anime that I dislike that I've ever watched was, like I said, Eureka 7. Do you watch Naruto Shippuden every time a new episode comes out? No. As a matter of fact, the last episode of Naruto Shippuden that I actually watched was way, way back when Naruto first learned the Rasen Shuriken and he hit Kakuzu with it. That was the last Shippuden episode I watched. What? Who is your favorite character in One Piece? Favorite character in One Piece? I stopped reading at like volume 50, and up until that point, my favorite. I don't even know if I had a favorite character in One Piece. Actually, probably. Actually, no. Nico Robin. Definitely Nico Robin. These next questions come from my my Eon Blue Apocalypse or my One Blue Apocalypse. Can't tell. Favorite Berserk character, arc, apostle, fight, moment. Favorite Berserk character, and it's probably the favorite apostle, probably Griffith. I really like Griffith. Griffith is such an interesting motherfucker. One of the most interesting characters I've ever seen. And even now, I'm not sure if he's a villain or not. He's definitely an antagonist. He's definitely done some brutal shit to his own friends. But his actions towards everyone else don't seem to be the actions of a villain. That's why I'm not sure if he's a villain. And he's also done some good things too. So definitely my favorite character. Definitely the most interesting character, I think. Favorite apostle fight? Apostle fight. Let's see. I thought the fight between Guts and Grunbell was pretty awesome when Guts first uses his berserker armor. Shit was just fucking crazy. How would you improve the U.S. anime and manga industry in both business and popularity? I think I've already mentioned this. If I was the head of the anime industry or like somebody influential, I'd get rid of all torrenting and pirating. I'd switch to digitization. I would change my business model, and I'd find some way to get people to start buying my shit again. This question comes from Volcom Skater 65. If you were to choose your own big three from any ongoing series, what would it be? Hunter x Hunter, Berserk, and Gantz. These questions come from Shadow Goth Ryu. Have you seen the anime Razafan? Yes. Would you like to see a re-release of Ronin Warriors on DVD Blu-ray? I mean, I don't buy DVDs anymore, so I mean, I guess for other people, sure, but not for me personally. Have you read the manga Defense Devil and Parasite? No. Are you a fan of Vampire Princess Miyu and the Robotech Macross series? I've been meaning to watch the Robotech Macross series, but haven't gotten around to it. And I've never read Vampire Princess Miyu, so I guess I'm not a fan of that. Have you seen Ninja Scroll and MD Guys? I've been meaning to watch MD Guys for the longest and Ninja Scroll, but haven't gotten around to it. What was the worst anime you ever watched? Eureka 7. Do you think that anime is becoming less prevalent in American society? Hell no. Less prevalent? No way in hell that could be true. Uh, Let me see. Okay, this is a long ass question. I remember at the height of Toonami, everyone I knew was watching anime. I was in the third grade when anime like DBZ and Sailor Moon and Gundam were becoming big. A lot of the girls in the class watched these anime as well. A lot of people in the school openly talked about it and watched it. A few years later, Adult Swim came out and played a lot more mature anime. Compare that to now. Um, I think shit, man. I think stuff has gotten more mature, not less. Especially if you think about series like Hunter x Hunter with the Chimera Ant arc, and even some things, although I don't think One Piece is a particularly dark series, things like the Fishman Island arc, the questions of genocide brought up in Full Metal Alchemist, I think the shit's getting more mature, not less mature. Uh, when shows like, let me see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you continue to see it move? Do you continue to see anime move online where people watch subs? Yes. I mean, unless the anime industry gets rid of pirating and torrenting, then yeah. Even if they don't, they have to move to digitization at some time. Do you think more dubbing companies will shut down? Probably. Do you think anime will ever be shown on the scale like it was during the height of Toonami and Adult Swim? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe, but I don't think so. What do you think is the biggest factor about anime that keeps the average American from watching it? They think that it's like American cartoons. They think it's for kids. These questions come from Line Arm. What would your reaction be if anime characters started coming into the real world? I'd be scared like a motherfucker. I'd be scared as hell. Would you watch any anime rebooted? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Why not? What genre of anime do you prefer the most? Shonen or seinen? What would your reaction be if a live action adaptation of an anime was done right? I think it's probably very difficult. Any attempts to show any sort of powers will fail in a live action movie. If you try to show a Susanoo, if you try to show a Rasengan, if you try to show something like Mugetsu, if you try to show something like Whitebeard's Devil Fruit powers or Yami no Mi powers, that's destined to fail. But if you could show abilities like Vash the Stampede, like realistic type abilities, Spike Spiegel, then that would definitely work. So I don't think it can be done right if depending on what you do. Because the anime aesthetic can't be adapted into live action. It just it just can't be done right or done well, I think. Which underrated anime do you think deserves more attention? Monster by Naoki Urasawa. Which mainstream anime do you think deserves less attention? Deserves less attention? I guess Fairy Tail, sure, why not? Will there ever be an anime comic crossover in the future? Anime comic crossover. Maybe. I know there is a collaborative effort being between Hiroyuki Takei and Stan Lee called Ultimo, but I haven't read it, so I don't really know the details of that. What anime do you think deserves the axe? Deserves the axe? I don't know if any anime deserves the axe. Not any ongoing anime, at least. I mean, I still find them pretty entertaining. This question comes from Kuroi Raiden. Again, don't know how that happened. Do you read Bleach? No. I've actually never read the Bleach manga. I've only seen the anime. So, and I haven't seen the Fullbring arc. What is your overall opinion of Fullbring arc? Do you think it has too much things from Yu Yu Hakusho Chapter Black? Probably, yeah. They're pretty similar. What is your favorite genre of music? and manga. The music thing really doesn't belong here. But my favorite genre of manga, uh, shonen or seinen. Damn, I've answered that question a lot lately. Is there, if there are any, what are some of your favorite anime opening songs? Already answered this. Have you seen the anime Black Cat? No. Do you think Japan handles media better than the US when it comes to animation? Probably, yeah. The Japanese animation is on a level that's not even close. I mean, unless you're talking about Disney or Pixar, shit like that, but otherwise, not even close. The quality of the animation in Japan is way better than the quality of animation in America. A manga only gets into anime if it's okay, whatever. Well, that's not a question. Uh, these questions come from TV King 00. Who's the better villain, Shishio or Sensui? Honestly, I don't know, but if I was hard pressed, I I don't know. I probably say maybe Sensui, but just by this much, just by that much. What series? What's your favorite anime movie? Haven't seen a lot of anime movies. Let me see. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot. I don't think I can't even think of one that I've seen off the top of my head, really. Which series is better, 666 Satan or Hunter x Hunter? Hunter x Hunter. Although I like 666 Satan more. What anime? This question comes from Madara 1991. What anime series would you want to be a character in, and why? Also, who is your favorite female main character from an anime series? My favorite female main character, Urza. I love Urza, and I've only read 22 chapters of Fairy Tail, but I love Urza. I also like Unohana from Bleach. Love Unohana. Also like Nausicaa from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Also love Motoko Kusanagi. So yeah. What series would I be a character in? Ugh. Definitely not something like Gantz or Berserk. That shit would be awful. I don't know. Maybe Naruto, One Piece, maybe one of those series. This is a question from RuneScape Vid 2K9. What's your problem with the big three? You seem to really dislike them. No, I don't dislike the big three. I've said this from day one. You people seem not to understand that there's a difference between liking something and criticizing something. I think that those series, the big three, are mediocre. Bleach is probably subpar, but that doesn't mean I don't like them. I like all of them, and I pretty much like them equally. So I mean, it's not that I don't like them. I like them. I just, criticize them. This question comes from the Glory Cross. What specific things could have been done better to make the story of Naruto become better? As in, what mistakes do you see that should have been fixed? Itachi should have remained a villain. Sasuke um, should be a more realistic villain. Right now, he's a bitch who hasn't even killed anybody. The story just got absolutely out of hand with a bunch of bullshit like Pain. The subplots are too many subplots going on at the same time. So those are just some of the things I would fix. Who in Shaman King is your favorite character and why? Probably Yo. Probably Yo. Yeah. Really like Yo. I just like his demeanor. His demeanor is just so mature. And he just has this aura of calmness and relaxation about him. Really cool character. This question comes from Douchebag612. What is your opinion on the Dragon Ball series? Now, this may surprise a lot of you. I've never seen Dragon Ball. Now, when I was a child, I saw various episodes of Dragon Ball, but I never went back and rewatched the entire series from start to finish. So, yeah. Do you ever think manga will be as good as it was back in the 80s and 90s? Do I ever think it will be? Yeah, of course. I mean, it has to get better, right? I mean, it certainly can't get worse than this. And plus, the stuff that we've got isn't even that bad. Like since 2000, you've got stuff like Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop was 1999, so yeah, probably not Cowboy Bebop. Big O came out in the 2000s. Full Metal Alchemist came out in the 2000s, and a lot of other good stuff came out in the 2000s too. These questions come from Zero X Shinobi. What are your thoughts of when a manga transitions into anime form and ends up being nowhere near as good, with its animation being done poorly? What are my thoughts on that? That sucks, obviously. I mean, there's nothing really much to say about it. Also, do you think you will ever bring out a video with your thoughts on the Soul Eater manga? Yeah, when I ever get around to watching Soul Eater or reading Soul Eater. This question comes from Zero Gravity XL. Can you read the following animes and manga and tell me what you think and do some character and story analysis? I will be doing Taoru Majutsu no Index. I don't know when. Angel Beats. I don't think I'm interested in Angel Beats, so no. Chrome Shelled, Chrome Shelled Regius. Never heard of it. Scott Pilgrim, maybe. D. Great. Well, Scott Pilgrim, actually, probably not. D. Gray Man, maybe. Fate Stay Night, maybe. Nora Rihyon, no Mago, don't know. Claymore, probably. The ones that are not animes. South Park, maybe. Probably not, though. Undergrads, probably not. Yeah, probably not. Any of those. This question comes from Persian Version Speaks. Would you watch an anime that is meant for a younger audience? No. No. Yu-Gi-Oh, yes, but stuff like Inazuma 11, no. No, can't watch that. No. This question comes from the Phantom Troop. What anime inspired you and made you love anime? What made me love anime? Naruto. This question comes from Sam Falcon 777. What ongoing series, anime, and manga are you following right now? Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Gantz, Berserk, pretty much those. This question comes from GT the King. Who can you relate to more in Zeta Gundam? Probably Camille Bidan. Maybe Shara Aznable a little bit, but Camille Bidan more. What are your favorite anime character? Geofreed. Who can you relate to more in Rurouni Kenshin? Probably Hajime Saito. That's the one who I can probably relate to the most. Who can you relate to more in Shaman King? Probably Hao Asakura, maybe Yo, but probably Hao. This question comes from the Will of D13. Last question for anime and manga category. Do you feel with all the manga anime discussions and the true understanding of it, which you present the most in your videos, do you feel it will and can become more of people's personal lives as far as understanding different things? Do I think anime and manga will become a part of people's personal lives? It's already a part of people's personal lives. I know a shit ton of people who talk about how, anime and manga and even comic books and cartoons are just a huge component of their personal lives and how it's taught them so many different things about life and, how it helps them through life. So, yeah, I think it can only increase as time goes on. As more people start to, watch anime and read manga. So yeah. All right. On to the next category. We've got other. So the category entitled other. So this question comes from Line Armin 0245. Do you think Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon will become decent again? Unfortunately, no. Especially Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network fucking sucks now. Sucks. Nickelodeon, the only thing that comes on Nickelodeon, the only two cartoons that come on Nickelodeon is SpongeBob, which I like, and Kung Fu Panda, which I think is okay. But that's pretty much it. You got to get the extra Nick channels and Disney channels to get anything decent, so probably not. Do you think YouTube poops are overall funny or not? I don't know what the fuck a YouTube poop is. I have no idea what that is, so I can't even answer that question. Do you think nostalgia is harmful in the long run? Uh, Nostalgia isn't harmful. If you're wrapped up in nostalgia, if nostalgia is the only thing you can think about, then that's bad. Which character is much dumber, Billy from Billy and Mandy or Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie? Ed on occasion has actually displayed some capacity for intelligence, I think. Billy, as far as I can tell, Billy is just, he doesn't even have a brain as far as I can tell. So probably Billy is dumber. Do you think your education was great? My fucking education was awesome. Especially my college education. My college education is, most people don't realize how good of a school Rutgers is. We're number one in philosophy. We're top 20 in history. We're top 20 in English. We've got a great business school, a great law school. My fucking education was awesome. Do you my high school education was pretty good. I guess by Newark standards, it was pretty good. So yeah. Oh, and plus I was on the debate team, so shit, yeah, my education has been great since high school. Do you think people should let go of religion? Yes and no. It's too complicated to explain, so I'll just leave it at that. In your honest opinion, can memes be funny? Sure, they can be funny, yeah. Why not? How do you respond to God being a main villain in some series? I think it's very, very interesting to cast God as a villain. I think that probably makes for a very interesting concept and a very interesting story from my perspective. What villain would you want to punch in the jaw? What villain? Who was that jackass from Yu-Gi-Oh? Makoro or Marek? That motherfucker. Yeah, Marek. I'd love to punch him in the face. What would your reaction if Minato Namikaze ever appeared in the realm of comic books? I think he'd get his ass raped. Um, Characters like Silver Surfer, Phoenix, Superman, they probably rape. I think comic books have the strongest people. So if Minato appeared in comic books, God help him, because he's going to get fucked up bad, real bad. What if Cartman insulted the following? Toby, Akainu, Orochimaru, Johann Liebert, Doctor Doom, and Shrek. If he insulted those people, Cartman would get his ass killed. He'd probably end up as a fucking some kind of specimen in a petri dish somewhere. What would your reaction be if One Piece crossed over with Aquaman? Aquaman. But I don't know. I've never read Aquaman, so I don't fucking know what would happen. What if Flash called Sonic the Hedgehog a ripoff of him? What could Sonic do? He's not like he's going to beat Flash up. Flash will whoop Sonic's ass. Bad. Real bad. What if Gurren Lagann went one-on-one with Godzilla? Never seen Gurren Lagann, so I don't know. This question comes from the Glory Cross. What were your favorite back in the day non-anime cartoons? Shit, man. Let's see. Scooby-Doo. A pup named Scooby-Doo. Johnny Bravo. Dexter's Laboratory. Thundercats. It's like 5, right? I know it's got to be a shitload more than that. But those are the ones that just come to me off the top of my head. Who are your favorite music artists? Current music artists? Keith Jarrett, jazz musician. Nas, DMX. Although I don't think he's recording anymore. Alicia Keys, Keisha Cole, Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah, I got a lot of people. Pretty sure I'm leaving some important people off that list, but this is from TV King 00. What are your views on Hollywood? Uh, I don't know. I don't really think of Hollywood that much, so I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent, I guess. This question comes from Miss Elisa Woods. You mentioned your major, what you're studying in college in one of your videos. Could you maybe expand on that? What year are you? What are your ideal career is, etc. I'm really studying four major things. Philosophy, in particular, continental philosophy, so postmodernism, post-structuralism, things like Hegel, Marx, Nietzsche, also American pragmatism, so Dewey, um, William James, those sorts of things. I also study feminism, in particular, postmodern feminism. So people like Judith Butler, Barbara Johnson, Gayatri Spivak. I also study African American literature, in particular African American women writers, people like Zora Neale Hurston, Audre Lorde, Nella Lawson, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker. I also study some literature of the Francophone Caribbean, so people like Nalo Hopkinson, um, who else? Edwidge Dandicott, Juno Diaz, also perhaps, yeah, Amy Césaire, Edouard Glissant, and I also study feminism, post-colonialism, people like Edward Said, Gayatri Spivak, Homi K. Baba, Anya Lumba, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, African American women studies, philosophy. Oh, I also do history, so American political, cultural, and social history from Reconstruction until the present. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, my career is to become a professor, an English professor. What is your thought process while analyzing things? Do you have a system or criteria that you look for in certain anime, mangas, novels, movies, whatever? The only things that I look for, I don't have any system when it comes to analyzing. When every text is different, so your analytical approach has to be different depending on what text you're analyzing. But one thing, some of the things that I look for, actually, yeah, I don't really look for anything. When it comes to anime, manga, I look for things like characterization, um, sort of narrative plausibility, but those criteria do not apply when I'm analyzing text outside of anime and manga or even movies. They my thought process is a little different, and also different depending on what text I'm analyzing and the purpose behind the analysis. So why I'm analyzing it. This question comes from Super Sapien 3. What are your opinions of the direction that modern gaming is going in this era? Don't game, so I don't know. Where did you get the name Nerd Nigga? From GT to King. Before my first video, I just came up with that phrase, no frills, just the analysis, and aka the Nerd Nigga. It didn't come from anywhere. I was just thinking, like I said, I was thinking to myself, I have to have something catchy, something that describes me and describes my sort of approach to being a reviewer. And nerd nigga just sounded nice because of the alliteration, nerd nigga, the double N effect. And it was just a perfect way to describe me. So that's, the origins of the nerd nigga moniker, if you will. Um, these questions come from the J Zone Productions. I know you're not really into gaming, but are there any games you really enjoy playing? I really loved Max Payne. I really loved Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, and I really loved God of War. Those were the only video games I really loved. Oh, and also Grand Theft Auto, um, San Andreas, and also Liberty City as well. Explain to me how you don't mind women that sleep with many guys. All right, so me and J Zone had a sort of discussion one time on Skype about, women who sleep with a lot of men, and I claimed that, I didn't care if a woman slept with a lot of men. Here's the thing. There is no one-to-one correspondence between a woman's moral disposition and her sexual activity. There's no you can't know anything about the moral disposition of a person merely by reference to their sexual activity. I mean, unless they're a rapist or a pedophile, there's no one-to-one correspondence between a person's morality or ethics and the fact that they sleep with a lot of people. That's just true. The only reason why we believe otherwise is because we have a very Christian conception of sexuality where we believe that it's moral to be chaste, which is really a bunch of bullshit. There is no moral reason why you should practice chastity. None whatsoever. No moral reason. There may be personal reasons. There may be psychological reasons. There are no moral reasons why you should be chaste. What are the most relatable characters to you from any medium? Anime, comics, movies. Most relatable characters. I'd have to say Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin. He's pretty relatable. Camille Bidan from Zeta Gundam. Uso Eben from Victory Gundam. I don't really read comics, and I'm not really a connoisseur of movies either. So this question comes from Tari. Uh, what do you know about Tzvetan Todorov and the narrative theories? Sorry, I didn't look this up. Don't know who the hell you're talking about. Never heard of this guy. Maybe I might do a separate video since I wasn't able to answer this question. And yeah, so can't answer that question. From Esper Review, will you ever start playing video games? Maybe. I play video games very, very sporadically. Although the last time I played a video game was spring of 2009, so probably not. These questions come from, god damn, these are a lot of questions. From Stings009. Have you read the comic series Sandman? No. Also, did you watch Cyber 6 before? No. Uh, what would your reaction be if One Piece were to cross over with Pirates of the Caribbean? I feel sorry for the Pirates of the Caribbean because they'd probably get fucked up pretty bad. Um, what would your reaction be if Naruto crossed with Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles? I mean, I don't know what the hell my reaction would be. I think that's weird. It'd be weird as hell for Naruto to just show up inside of fucking the Ninja Turtles universe. That'd be awkward. What would your reaction? What would you be happy if Aang teamed up with Naruto in a crossover? Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Would you laugh if Luffy reached the destination for One Piece in which he finally discovers and finds the treasure, only for it to be the Simpsons? Yeah, we're in that weird place in these questions again. Would I laugh? Hell no. I'd be fucking pissed. Oda better not pull some bullshit like Luffy finds One Piece, but it turns out to be the treasure of your heart or some bullshit like that. It better not be, Oda. Real talk. It better not be. Would you watch a Full Metal Alchemist and Aliens movie franchise crossover? Probably not. No. Do you listen to rap? If so, who are your favorite artists? Nas is my absolute favorite artist. But I also like Rakim. I like Jay-Z. Joel Ortiz. Styles P. Styles P is probably my second favorite artist. DMX is probably my third favorite artist. So I like Biggie and Pac, but they're not my favorites. Do you listen to rock? If so, who are your favorite bands? Nope, don't listen to rock. What would your reaction be if Batman were to cross over into the world of Death Note with Elle investigating or suspecting him of being Bruce Wayne or the New Light? Wow. I guess that's your reaction. Wow, that'd be fucking awesome. Are you a fan of Invader Zim? Yes. Are you a fan of the Stormhawks? Never heard of them. Are you a fan of Shaolin Showdown? It was okay. Are you a fan of Avatar The Last Airbender? Yes. Are you excited for the follow-up series, The Last Airbender Legend of Korra? Yes. What do you think would happen if these mastermind supervillains were to come across one another? Aizen from Bleach, Memon from Spawn, don't know Memon, Toby from Naruto, and Ozymandias from Watchmen. Um, either Aizen or Ozymandias would fuck these people up. It would really be a fight between Aizen and Ozymandias. That's what it really come down to. Uh, what would your reaction be if Samurai Jack met Rurouni Kenshin and Afro Samurai in a crossover with all three swordsmen venturing together to fight common enemies? That would be awesome. That would fucking be great, actually. That'd be awesome. Are you a fan of Generator Rex? It's okay. Would you laugh if Naruto caught Luffy and Goku watching SpongeBob SquarePants and then said, I'm calling in the Chakra Vengeance Squad, taking out his Captain America shield and costume, and then out of nowhere, Rurouni Kenshin appears saying, I think you belong in Arkham Asylum. I booked you a spot. I mean, that's just crazy. Would I laugh? Would I think that's funny or would I laugh? No, not really. That's just fucking, honestly, that's just fucking stupid and weird. Just fucking weird, man. Weird. Have you watched Zen by Life.1 Entertainment? No. Would you laugh if Wolverine and Ichigo met in a bar and then Wolverine said to Ichigo, Tite, what the fuck? Tite butt ass is in that section, and then Ichigo says, now that's my creator Tite Kubo you're talking about, raising his sword, and then Wolverine takes out his claws saying, now I thought Spidey had bad taste. That would be kind of funny. I think Wolverine will Wolverine fuck Ichigo up? Maybe. In hand-to-hand combat, Wolverine would beat the shit out of Ichigo, but you know. Would you laugh if Naruto said, I'm bored of looking for Sasuke, I'm going to look for One Piece, in which he crosses over into the One Piece world with Luffy saying, it took you long enough? Would I laugh? No. I wouldn't laugh at that. Why am I taking these questions so seriously? Who is your most favorite bad attitude or badass character out of the list? And which ones would you cross over? Hiei, Shadow the Hedgehog, Snake Eyes, Vegeta, Zoro, Sesshomaru, Itachi, Rorschach, Roy Mustang, Zuko, Kenpachi, Jason Todd, Wolverine, Akuma, Brago, Death the Kid, Zero, Mewtwo, Lucario, Darkrai, and Bumblebee. My favorite on the list, I'd have to say Itachi, Hiei, Vegeta, Zoro, Roy, Kenpachi, Wolverine, Mewtwo. That's pretty much it. And I'd probably cross them all over. That'd be interesting. Would you laugh if Deadpool, Luffy, and the Mask formed a group called the Doofuses with a goal in mind and later beat up the Riddler, showing the results to Batman, who then says Riddler needs to watch Welcome to NHK starring Nightwing? Probably wouldn't laugh at that. I don't think that's funny. Would you laugh if Deadpool curb stomped Ichigo? Yes, that would be fucking hilarious. What Disney villains would you see work as anime villains, and what animes would you like to see them be part of? Anime villains? Disney villains are so like tame with respect to anime. I don't think any Disney villains would really work out well as anime villains. What would your reaction be if Shaman King crossed with Danny Phantom? I guess this silence, like WTF. Do you think that the Hunger Games is a ripoff of Battle Royale? No, the Hunger Games is based on Greek mythology. It's not a ripoff of Battle Royale. What comic book and animes would you like to see crossover? I honestly don't know. I suppose maybe I really don't know. I'd like to see a Full Metal Alchemist Fantastic Four crossover where Silver Surfer meets like Father or Galactus meets Father. That'd be fucking woof. That'd be crazy. Yeah, something like that. What makes a good crossover, and do you like crossovers? I don't know. Crossovers are okay. I mean, if you have to Create a setting in which you maintain the consistencies of your respective stories. That's what makes a good crossover to me. What would happen if Hiei met Shadow the Hedgehog and Mewtwo? Have no idea what would happen. Who do you think is stronger, Superman or Aizen? Superman. Superman is damn near invulnerable. I mean, it depends on whether or not you think he would be. Nah, he probably wouldn't be vulnerable to the attacks in Bleach. Yeah, Superman. And depending on what Superman you're talking about, like the Superman of the Silver Age, I mean, that motherfucker was strong enough to blow the solar system back in place. He was holding black holes in his bare hands. There's no way in hell Aizen beats Superman. What would happen if Naruto was taken over by the Spectre? I don't know. I don't even know who the Spectre is from DC Comics, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on the world ending this year? The world is not ending this year. This question comes from that question came from Super DP 1992. This question comes from Cairo Din. You also previously mentioned reading The Wheel of Time, a series I love. What are some of your favorite characters and plots? I don't think I ever mentioned reading The Wheel of Time. I mentioned that it was a good fantasy series, I think. And that's just based on what everybody else says. But I've never read The Wheel of Time, so I can't answer that question. What music genres do you enjoy? Jazz, blues, rap, hip hop, and R&B. Which that question was from OMD Way. And this question is also from OMD Way. Which underrated Marvel or DC superhero should get an appearance on the big screen? Flash. That's what I want to see. Flash. Yeah. Flash. This question comes from My Eon Blue Apocalypse. Favorite live action movie? Don't have a favorite live action movie. Favorite animated movie? Don't have a favorite animated movie. Favorite book? Favorite book? Probably. Oh man, that's kind of difficult. Probably Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston or Zombie by Audre Lorde. This question comes from Super Minority. Who do you watch on YouTube? Uh, Insane Game Freak I watch. Pretty much everybody in the Cloud Village. Let's just get that out of the way. And that's pretty much it. Oh, Yugo Strange. I watch Yugo. Zip. I watch Zip. That's pretty much it. Pretty sure I got some other ones, but can't remember off the top of my head. What shows are you watching right now? Shows? TV shows? I just finished up The Wire. Now I'm watching Boardwalk Empire, the first season. Breaking Bad, the fourth season. That's pretty much it. These questions come from Shadow Goth Ryu. What are your favorite TV shows and movies? The Wire, 24, Breaking Bad. I really don't have any favorite movies. Yeah, pretty much those. Just out of curiosity, how come you don't play video games? I just don't have the patience for them. That's the only reason why. Once I get to a part that I can't solve, I lose all interest. What is your favorite type of mythology? Probably Egyptian mythology. Probably Egyptian. This question comes from BatRock51. Do you like Eminem's music? Yes. This question comes from Hyterma. Did you like Avatar The Last Bender? Yes. What are your expectations for Legend of Korra? Just released a video on that. What do you think about racism on the internet? I think it sucks. Do you think racism is getting more or less severe on the internet and in society? I think it's probably getting. It's already pretty bad on the internet, but I think it's. I think it's. I think it's probably getting less severe in society at least. This question comes from the Rainbow Tribe. Do you think you're interested in reading some additional ideas of ways of looking at some of the things in your Thank You, Fuck You series, even if they're about topics and videos you've already made and moved on from? Yes. Yeah, and send me your thoughts on that. This question comes from Persian Version Speaks. What are your favorite cartoons? I like Kid versus Cat, Invader Zim, The Mighty Bee, Fanboy and Chum Chum, Fairly Odd Parents, Kung Fu Panda, Penguins of Madagascar, Cornel and Bernie, Recess, Fillmore. Yeah, so those are like 10. What kind of music do you listen to? Yeah, I already answered that question. This comes from Yes, Obama Can Fuck Up USA. Uh, do you watch football, soccer? No, don't watch soccer. Do you watch NBA? And who will win the 2012 NBA championship? I think the NBA will, I mean, not the NBA. I think the Heat will win the 2012 NBA championship. Although LeBron James is a bitch who doesn't like to go for the jugular vein in the fourth quarter. Best point guard in the NBA. From what I can tell, it's probably Chris Paul. Maybe not. Probably Derrick Rose. Probably Derrick Rose. Between Derrick Rose, Chris Paul, and Rajon Rondo. LeBron or Kobe? Obviously Kobe. LeBron's a bitch. Pacquiao or PBF? I don't know who PBF is, but Pacquiao is probably the best pound for pound fighter besides Floyd Mayweather. And I think he might beat Mayweather. Who will win the Super Bowl? Oh, this question was a long. Yeah, you could tell how long ago these questions were asked. Who will win the Super Bowl? The New York Giants or the Pats? I would have said the Patriots. What do you think of Tim Tebow? Not a good quarterback. He probably won't last that long. Larry Bird or Magic Johnson? Probably Magic Johnson. Pele or Maradona? Don't know who that is. This question comes from Naruto Storm 3. Why don't you play video games? Don't have the patience, like I said. This question comes from Sand Falcon 777. What are your favorite video games? Like I said, God of War, Budokai 3, um, GTA San Andreas and Liberty City, or GTA 3. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. What are some of your favorite movies and directors? I really don't have favorite movies and directors, so I can't really say. This question comes from Mr. Darkado 514. Thoughts on the future of the YouTube anime community? The Cloud Village is taking over. Pretty much it. If there was one thing you could change about YouTube, what would it be and why? One thing I could change about YouTube. I don't know. I guess I wish I got a bigger portion of the revenue. This question comes from Satch Oslicks. Don't really know how to pronounce that. Do you like reading about science or just novels? Probably novels more than science, fantasy, and science fiction. What's your favorite book by Jorge Luis Borges? Haven't never read a book by Borges. Only thing I know about Borges, the only thing I really know about Borges is that he's into metafiction and that he's important in terms of literary theory. That's the only thing I know about Borges. Do you like sports? What's your favorite? Football. Favorite team? Baltimore Ravens. Did you watch Lost? No, but I am watching it now, sporadically. These next questions come from PM Night 12. Both recently and in a relatively short period of time, I've listened to about a half dozen or more of your vids. You present your thoughts in a measured, reasoned, and well-articulated way, and I enjoy checking them out. Thank you. Uh, okay, I have to ask you about your AKA name, the Nerd Nigga. Being black myself, I've heard all the jazz about how we now own the word and therefore we have taken its power. I was wondering. No, we black people don't own the word. You can't own words. Words are not something that you own. Have we taken the power away from it? Away from it? To some extent, yes. We've engaged in a sort of linguistic subversion, if you will, but that does not mean that we now own the word. Uh, this question comes from DJ YC21215. The SOPA bill failed to get passed, yet they still closed down Mega Upload. This seems like standard procedure since the bill was mainly just a justification for an action they were already going to do. Do you feel as though people will react the same way should a more violent policy be initiated? Violent? I mean, there won't be any violence between the United States government and society over pirating or torrenting. That's not going to cause a civil war. So, I mean, no, I don't think so. What would uh this question comes from Law Lie the Take. Do you watch Walking Dead? Yes. Do you watch Breaking Bad? Yes. This question comes from Ziblagori. These questions, rather. What's your opinion on interracial dating? It's fine with me. I don't really care. Who is your celebrity crush if you have one? Celebrity crush? I like Lucy Lawless, but probably not. Yeah, Lucy Lawless. Mariska Haggerty. I really like Mariska Haggerty. Those are Mariska Haggerty is my biggest celebrity crush, though. What anime best represents you? Anime? Probably Planet Test. That's pretty good anime. It's pretty good. Maybe Haibane Renmei too. What anime? Oh, not anime. What animal best represents you? Animal? Maybe. What animal best represents me? Maybe a dolphin, because dolphins are known to be pretty smart animals. Probably a dolphin. Yeah, I know that might sound weird. Probably, yeah, probably a dolphin. If you were a villain, who would you be more like? If I was a villain, probably Miriam from Hunter x Hunter. I'd be that type of villain. This question comes from Hodgelander12. What are your top 5 Disney movies? I don't really watch Disney movies that much, so I don't really have a top 5. This question comes from Simeon Prime. Do you have a plan for a zombie apocalypse? If so, what is it? Honestly, my plan for a zombie apocalypse is a bullet to the head. I mean, I don't see any point in staying alive in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And I know that might sound fucked up, but yeah, pretty much. Bullet to the head. These questions come from Megafiso. What gave you the idea for your catchphrase? Already answered that question from GT the Queen. GT the Queen. Sorry about that. GT the King. give me a break, man. This video is going on 2 hours long. Do you like video games? Yeah, I like them, but I just don't play them. What's your favorite console and game? I've only ever owned a PS2, so I guess that's my favorite console. Have you got a girlfriend? Are you married? No to both. How old are you? I am 22, about to be 23 on June 12th. What state do you live in? New Jersey. What is your real name? Damn, it's getting kind of personal, don't you think, brother? My real name is Alzamar Lee McKinney. Name 5 things you would like to see be made into an anime or manga. They'd probably be some fantasy books like Mistborn, um, The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive from Brandon Sanderson. Can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. Maybe the Takeshi Kovacs trilogy by what is that? Richard K. Morgan. Probably something like that. Maybe Ender Saga from Orson Scott Card. Yeah, probably something like that. What was your favorite cartoon growing up? My favorite cartoon was probably Scooby-Doo. Anime and manga, which do you prefer and why? Anime, definitely anime. I just like the aesthetics of anime, and I like the movement, the sounds. I think it's a more it appeals more to your full senses. Who is your biggest inspiration and why? My biggest inspiration, my mother. Definitely has to be my mother. Definitely has to be my mother. Uh, Favorite superhero and why? Favorite superhero? I don't think I really have a favorite superhero. There's some superheroes because I don't really read comics that much, so I can't really say favorite superheroes. Favorite color and why? Black. Who knows why they like black? The ethical complexity of black. That's why I like black. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Yes, yes, I have, and I killed him right afterwards. Favorite film and why? Don't really have a favorite film. Favorite type of music. My favorite type of music is probably rap, and jazz would be a very, very close second. Favorite YouTuber and why? Favorite YouTuber? I don't know, man. I guess maybe let me see. Let me see my subscriptions. Maybe I can answer this. Favorite YouTuber. Have no idea who my favorite YouTuber is. Let's see. In my subscriptions. I don't have a favorite YouTuber. Uh, Favorite website and why? Favorite website? xnxx.com. That's my favorite website for obvious reasons. Yeah. And finally, what are your top 3 historical periods and why? My favorite, probably ancient Egypt. Because I just find all these historical periods interesting. Ancient Egypt, um, American Reconstruction, and probably feudal Japan. Yeah, those. Yeah. Now on to the final category. Goodness gracious. Let's see. What's the final category? The final category is personal questions. All right. This question comes from my Eon Blue Apocalypse. Are you introverted or extroverted, personality wise, outside of YouTube? Definitely introverted. I'm pretty much like Zip. I'm damn near a hermit. So yeah, very very introverted. Mac or PC? PC. PC, yeah, definitely PC. This question comes from King Slate. Are you a lit major or something because you're very familiar, seemingly, with literature in general, i.e., storylines? No, I'm not a literature major, although I do study literature. Um, this question comes from TV King 00. What are your political views? I'd probably say I'm a liberal. Yeah, probably liberal. But it's complicated, and I don't want to explain it, but yeah, just liberal. Batrock51, where did you get your YouTube name from? Uber Hikari? Oh, Uber Hikari comes from 2 different languages. The Uber comes from German, which means over or super. Hikari comes from the Japanese for light. So put them together, my name means super light. How do your parents feel about your YouTube videos? I don't think my mother knows I make YouTube videos. I mean, she certainly hasn't mentioned it before. And plus, most of the videos I record are in my dorm room, as you can see. So, yeah, because I spend most of my time at college. What are you majoring in college? Basically, my major consists of philosophy, African American literature, women's and gender studies, and history. What was your first job? My first job, I was in charge of a recreation center at a pool. So yeah, that was my first job. Do you ever miss being a kid? No, no, I don't. Have you ever smoked weed before? Yes, I have. The Beast Mode 1994 asks, What is your dream job? Being a professor, an English professor. Do you ever think you'll stop YouTubing? Of course I'll stop YouTubing. I don't expect to be 60 years old and still YouTubing. So yeah, at some point I'll stop, although I don't know when. Does anime and manga help with your health condition? Somewhat. Do you think you will ever stop watching anime? No. And do you think you'll ever get made fun of for watching it? No. Do you hide the fact that you watch anime and manga? No. What age you get into anime and manga? Seriously? 18. That's the age when I, seriously got into anime and manga. Uh, 5 random weird facts about you. Um, I used to be able to walk on my hands. I probably still could, but I just don't have the upper body strength anymore. Other weird facts about me. Oh, I go to bed at like 6 o'clock and wake up at like 12 or 1. Some more weird facts. I guess I'm a hermit. I guess that's kind of a weird fact. Other weird facts about me. Weird facts. I don't know. I'm not a very weird person. So I guess those are 3. This question comes from Jeff Maul GF Mauled for Life UW, I think. Oh, why do you always wear that shirt? This, if you notice, this is not the same shirt. This is just an undershirt. I record most of my videos right after I take a shower because I record them early in the morning, like around 3 or 4. And so when I come out of the shower, I don't put on regular clothes because it's like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I put on an undershirt. So this is why you always see me wearing the same, what appears to be the same white shirt. But in fact, if you look closely, it's not. This question comes from the Enels or Thenels. When you first found out about the YouTube anime community and saw how anime equals big 3 and all the drama and bullshit which defines it, what made you want to be a part of it? I thought I could contribute. I mean, that's pretty much, well, there are some people who don't get into the anime community for that reason, but I thought I could contribute and bring a different dimension to the anime community. And as far as I can tell, I don't think there's anybody who makes videos the way I do. Now, that's not to say there aren't great reviewers. There are very great reviewers out there, but no one does reviews in the sort of systematic analytical way that I do them. So that's something very unique that I bring to the YouTube anime community. This question comes from OMD Way. Are you artistic? Somewhat, but I'm not really that good of an artist. Is your afro a symbol or did it just kind of happen? Yeah, it just kind of happened. Like I really, really liked my hair, and so I decided to just let it grow out. And that's pretty much how I got the afro. Do you practice any martial arts? I used to when I was a kid. I don't remember specifically. I think it was just regular karate, but no, I don't practice any martial arts now. Have you ever laid the smackdown on anybody? No, I've never never laid the smackdown on anybody. What are you studying in college slash university? Already answered that. Are you a smooth operator with the girls slash boys? LOLs, whatever you into. No, I would say that I'm not really a smooth operator. I'm really a socially awkward person, and like I said before, I'm mostly a hermit, so not really a smooth operator. Are you religious? If so, which do you follow? No, I'm not religious. This question comes from Meta Hija. Are you a virgin? No. This question comes from Super DP 1992. Why don't you play video games? Already answered that. If you could have multiple superpowers for 24 hours, what would it be? If I had superpowers, the only real superpowers that I would have is, well, 2. Reality manipulation and energy manipulation. Those are the only 2. What was your favorite? And I probably have super strength and being vulnerable, stuff like that. What was your favorite cartoon back in the 90s? Scooby-Doo. I think Scooby-Doo was out in the 90s. Besides reading and being on YouTube, what do you do in your spare time? Homework. lots and lots of homework, and that's pretty much it. My only hobbies basically include YouTubing, reading manga, watching anime, reading science fiction or fantasy, and reading academic books. Pretty much, basically what I do. Oh, and being on Skype. That pretty much takes up all of my time. Uh, this question comes from Dante the Demon 16. Oh, yeah, I already answered that question. This question comes from Max Steele. Does the afro make the man or the man make the afro? The man definitely makes the afro. I mean, if you're a bitch and you just decide to get an afro, that ain't going to change the fact that you're a bitch. So the man definitely makes the afro. These questions come from Black Katana. Do you have any siblings? Yes. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. Favorite time of the day? My favorite time of the day is between, well, whenever it's absolutely dark outside. So I guess between, but especially between 12 and like 4. I'm definitely a night owl. Live a villain or die a hero? Die a hero. Definitely die a hero. Fuck being a villain. Would you drink a potion that gave you your own unique superpower, but the potion had a 10% chance of killing you? Yes. Yes, I would. Hell, man, you live 9 out of 10 times. Favorite day of the year? Favorite day of the year? I don't have a favorite day of the year. Do you consider yourself successful? Successful? Yes, yes, definitely. I'm definitely successful. Shit. Say 5 million random people or 5 loved ones. 5 million random people. What do you fear the most? What do you love the most? What do I fear the most? My biggest fear is probably that I'll be a failure. Oh, that and death. What do I love the most? Probably being alive and probably in general humanity. No, that probably makes me sound like an idealist, but yeah. Hot breakfast or cold breakfast? Definitely hot. Do you believe in fighting fire with fire? Depends. Depends on the situation, depends on the context. But generally, if you want to hurt somebody, then don't fight fire with fire. If you want to really fuck a person up, don't fight fire with fire. You have to be manipulative. This question comes from Super Minority. What school do you go to? Rutgers University in New Brunswick. This question comes from Shadow Goth Ryu. Do you live at home? Yeah, still live at home with my mama. Well, actually, when I'm in college, I live obviously in my dorm, but yeah, still live at home with my mama. High Terma. This question comes from High Terma. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? I'll have a PhD. I'll be an English professor. I may or may not have written a book. Well, probably a novel. I probably will have written a couple of books, academic books at least. So, yeah, maybe I'll have a family, maybe not. This question comes from Line Armin 0245. What work of fiction scared you the most? Probably something like Halloween. Something like that, probably. Do you think a higher power exists? No. Are you brawny? Brawny? Muscular? If you mean like muscular, then no. I'm like 5'2", like 120 pounds. I'll probably weigh less than 120 pounds. Maybe 115. These questions come from Genzine or Genzi In. What state do you live in? New Jersey? What are you studying for? I already answered that. This question comes from Stings009. Do you have any ideas or plans to make your own anime manga original story? Yes. This question comes from Yugo Strange. Who are you? Not your real name. I'm asking you to define Uber Hikari. Who is Uber Hikari? Uber Hikari is a very analytical thinking type of person. Very ambitious. Uh, I think I'm a pretty humble person, not too arrogant, or at least Uber Hikari isn't. Well, maybe Uber Hikari is a little bit arrogant. Uber Hikari wants to make the YouTube anime community a better place. And that's why Uber Hikari helped to create the Cloud Village, because he wants him and everybody else he considers to be a great force within the YouTube anime community to take this shit over. So that's who Uber Hikari is in a nutshell. This question comes from Sam Falcon 777. Do you believe in God or higher power? No. This question comes from Mr. Dark Hado 514. Where did the phrase "no frills, just the analysis" come from? Already explained that, but yeah, it basically comes from I don't know. It just popped into my head. No frills, just the analysis, cause that's what this channel is about. No frills, just the analysis. What kind of chicks are you into? Pretty much any kind of chick. Pretty much. Doesn't really matter to me. And the last two questions come from Esper Review. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you got a woman pregnant? Once, but only for like 30 seconds. Because the chick I had been messing with, I found out later on that she was pregnant, and then they told me that she was pregnant by someone else. So yeah. What's your middle name? My middle name is Lee. Lee. My father's middle name was Lee, and my grandfather's first name is Lee. So, Lee. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. This 2 hour and 15-minute Q&A video. I'm tired as a motherfucker, and it's like 8:30, so I'm about to go get something to eat. But this is your boy Ube Hikari, aka the Nerd Nigga. Just brought you another video with no frills, just the analysis. Peace and have a blessed day.